So thankfully, the very awesome Ink Flame writer stepped up to co-panel this with me and help me out. And Siobhan is here to make sure that we actually, they can't hear me.
They figured it out, looks like.
Oh, okay.
I was gonna say I could hear you.
Okay. Well, hi. I'm Sandra Fikes, and I was insane enough to say that we needed a panel on Twitch for writers since there's so many writers coming in the community. And I will let Ink Flame Writer introduce themselves now.
So hi, I'm Larissa. I'm also known as Ink Flame Writer most places. So I started streaming, I guess about a couple of years ago now, I want to say. So I started off doing co-working streams, streaming my writing for Nano, and things just kind of went from there. And yeah, I can talk about writing on Twitch. I can do this.
Well, see, that's kind of, I started a couple of years ago. I had the Twitch account first, and then I finally wanted to do something with it. So I thought writing on Twitch was against the rules. So
Okay.
I very sneakily wrote articles about the games that I was playing and then read the article while I played the game. No one will notice. And then I found all of you, and
Rest is history.
Co-working, as defined by the Cambridge Dictionary, I actually looked this up earlier. Co-working is a way of working in which people who work for different employers or for themselves share a building or office, often in order to be able to share ideas. You know, that's co-working streams. I say they work. I wrote a 100,000-word novel earlier this year because of hanging out with the awesome people in this community. So yeah, as far as I can tell, and I don't have enough time to go into the research, but the research that I've seen backs it up that hanging out in a co-working, co-study stream increases your productivity. What do you think?
I would, well, okay. I would say that yes, it does, because it motivates you to show up every day. Does it always increase my productivity? Not so much, but I'm also known for getting very distracted on my stream. But I definitely, at the very least, find that it keeps me thinking about writing. And I think that does increase my productivity, is continuing to think about the world that I'm trying to build, the words that I want to write. And that kind of keeps me motivated when nothing else does.
Yeah, it's a definite I can't find the word right now, but having a group that you can hang out with, for me, it's like going and working in a coffee shop. I turn on like 4 streams around me and listen to all of you guys chattering about your work or what's going on. And it's like I'm sitting in a coffee shop, but it's a safe environment. I have social anxiety really bad. I can't go to a coffee shop and sit in the coffee shop and work on my novel. But here I can turn on, 3 or 4 people on stream that are working on novels on their own or working at whatever project. And if it gets to be too much, turn off the computer. So I would like to say that if you're looking to get into doing co-writing streams, my experience would say first thing you want to do is ask yourself, is this my hobby or is this my business? Because I started into this with the mindset of this is my business. So the first thing I did was said, what do I need to make this into a business? And we're going to go into some of that type of stuff. And I also want to explain to you guys, we've got ideas for what you might want to look into as far as thinking about sound and community building. that type of stuff. But let's see. Let me double check my notes here because I actually did make notes. If people would like to share why they want to start or why they have started their own co-working streams, that would be awesome. But I can't guarantee we'll get around to reading the entirety of chat because we don't have a lot of time to cover what is a huge subject. And yeah, did you have a brand thing for your stream, Inkflame?
I mean, I can talk a little bit about how I made my brand, but it was
Yeah,
more kind of a, your comment about treating it as a business versus a hobby. I came at it as a hobby because I wanted to connect with more people, because at the time we were all virtual with Nano, and so it was kind of hard to like, be there with people. So I kind of developed my brand by way of people giving suggestions and things like that.
Yeah.
But that I'll explain a little bit more about that when we get there.
Yeah. You've got the whole handling stream design and stuff like that handled here in just a few minutes. Ben Studio Gaming Company just redid their logo, and they pointed out something on their new logo that I thought was a really good thing. Don't think about what you want your logo to be. Think about what you want people to think when they see your logo if you're going to make one. The unicorn on the full moon I have, I made that in the 80s. It still works for me. That unicorn has come to just symbolize what I want people to see when they see it. Think about what you want things to be in 5, 10, 20 years. If you're going to be doing it from a business and you're looking for something to put down there as a logo that people will see, or if you look at my channel, I have it in the corner on my writing streams. I have my unicorn. So that if people leave my channel and go to Twitter and they see a comment with my unicorn on it, which right now it's my face, but if you see that unicorn somewhere, I'm hoping that the first thing you think is, oh, hey, that's one of Fantasy's things. I'm going to skip some of this stuff that I had notes on because, yeah, we don't have a lot of time. Would you like to talk about the stream design stuff there and channel points and things?
Yeah, so yeah, when you are getting started, I know that one thing that I had to look into a lot was like how to make my stream look good, because when I was starting off, I was just on my phone. I didn't have a webcam. I didn't have really much of a way to stream from a laptop or anything. So that was one of the first things that I wanted to do, was look at how I could make a stream that kind of fits the theme that I was going for, which is, I love dragons. I love fire related things. I mean, it's in my username. So I wanted to kind of do it that way. And so the things that I had to decide were, what elements really spoke to the type of writing I was doing. What did I want people to think when I first, when they first looked at my stream? What was the first thought in their minds? And so for me and my branding, it was very much about like this kind of like magical fantasy-esque type thing. And I looked for different themes. I experimented with a lot of free stuff that was out there, until I finally found like a paid theme that I was like, okay, I'm streaming enough to make this worth it. And, I experimented with all kinds of different sounds I could add and things that I could do, all based on both the equipment that I had available and what I could do to make my design fit my theme. And the biggest thing that really helped me with that is by watching other streamers and what they did and looking for how they got their stuff, things that they were recommending and stuff like that. The other thing that kind of falls under that category as well, was looking at channel points, because that's another one. As soon as people follow you, of course, they can do channel point stuff, and they can interact with you that way. So what channel points options did I have? I have 2 cats. I gave an option to give them a treat because they're super cute and people like seeing them on stream. But then I also had the opportunity to use that to create challenges that, you know, were kind of based off of what people wanted to see from me. So like, I had a lot of people talking about lurking and unlurking commands. So I did a challenge for making my commands. And that was a really, really great design and branding thing too, because it was spot on with, you know, this person has been burnt to a crisp was my lurk command. And it just kind of fit there. And then my personal favorite writing challenge that I did with the channel points was to have people decide what I was going to write on World Anvil, because not only was that super motivating for me, but it also was interesting to see what questions people asked about my world. So it's definitely, for me, the stream design has always been about like how to get people engaged, how to get people interested in what I'm doing, and how to give them that picture of like, what is my stream about? I'm kind of curious if you feel the same way about that, if you did the same thing.
Yeah, actually, you'll see me use my little thief from time to time. I try to limit it to only when it's appropriate, but I love that little thief emote that I made, which is just, you know, the little dude pulling back the chat screen and looking out with the thief mask on. That ties in with my novel and everything like that, to try to use my emotes to make people think of what my channel and my writing is about, because, you know, I like thieves in fantasy stories. I am writing about a thief in a fantasy story. And it just kind of helps, I hope, to, you know, between the unicorn logo and the little thief emote and stuff like that, I hope it helps people realize that, okay, well, if we're going to be looking at her work, we're going to be seeing fantasy and thieves. And yeah, so I pretty much agree with everything you just said there. And I did want to say here that there was a couple of comments in the chat back up here. Jay said the coffee shop analogy is right on, been super helpful for me with the pandemic and as a new mom. Author Brian Liu said, I came at it as I could either do it alone or do it with people who might be interested. Turns out, lots of interest. And Jay says accountability to do the writing is probably the primary reason for starting my own stream. So yeah, and Lathan says streaming was a way to hold myself accountable. So yeah, it's basically, everybody is just like community, accountability. Let's get together and do the thing. And that's what I find awesome about the Twitch writing community, is we're all kind of looking for the same thing together.
Yeah.
I will say on the stream design and stuff like that, I want to cover this here real quick, and it'll probably get it out of the way completely. In designing your stream, think about sound.
Oh yes.
I usually use tabletop audio.
I love them.
Yeah.
So good.
Another one that people use is I just wrote it down too.
Oh no.
The pretzel rocks.
Oh yes.
Now, Dinosaur Bob came up or mentioned something about dinosaur rock or pretzel rocks. Yeah, dinosaur rocks.
Dinosaurs do rock though.
They do. Dinosaur Bob had mentioned that his streams will get silenced because of pretzel rocks, but they're always cleared up within 24 hours. So if you have a problem with your stream being muted, just make like say, hey, did you mean to mute this or something like that, it will usually just clear itself up after they get a chance to actually look at it. But I like tabletop audio because it's made for gamers. So I can actually put on, if I'm writing a scene in a dark alleyway, I can put on mood sound. But
I
you do
love
need to
all
be
of
aware of the
their
DMCA stuff. So
I love all of their like adventure music, and
mhm.
um they have one called Radio Village that just makes me feel so calm and almost sleepy when I play it. But I end up just making a playlist and like having it rotate through as I'm going through my stream. That turns
tavern
out really
music.
nice.
Tavern music is just
Yes,
nice and upbeat. Keep you
that's one of
awake
my
working.
favorites.
Mine too. I played a lot. Okay. So how do you get started? If you're looking to start into doing this, what do you actually need other than sound yourself? I started with a PlayStation 4 and cell phone Wi-Fi in rural Alaska. I was streaming. Everything I played was Minecraft. So what do you need to get started with a co-op stream? Um, I know we need OBS Studio, in my opinion, and I would love to go into length about how to set that up and what to do with it. But yeah,
I
time and
think
everything.
that I think that the streaming 101 panel also covered that. So
Yeah, I
that's a
assume
really
they
good
probably
resource for that.
did. So um, that's another reason not to cover it is because yeah, I figured they probably covered that. Yeah, and like Siobhan says, you don't need a camera, but a mic is a good idea. I started with a really bad PlayStation 4 microphone, and now I'm using a Blue Yeti because I made the investment to get a really good mic when I knew that I was going to be doing more streaming.
Although that being said, there is absolutely nothing wrong with having a silent stream. I know I've done them before if like I really want to be there, but I'm not quite, feeling up to talking. I'm not going to be as energetic. A lot
Mhm.
of times I will turn my camera off and I'll turn off my mic and I'll mainly be in the chat talking to people, but I'll still keep things running just like normal. So it's a little bit more music based. It's a little bit more focused on what's
Mhm.
actually happening on screen. But it is a totally valid option if you just don't want to put a mic on.
Yeah, and that's really a good point with the writing streams and co-working type stuff. You don't have to be talking. I'll do the same thing. I actually have a thing that when I tap a button on my Leorin board, it brings up a muted mic icon on screen. So people can see that my mic is intentionally muted, and I can see at a glance. If I look over at the OBS, I can see, oh, the mute mic thing is showing my mic's muted.
That's a smart idea.
See.
Stayed unintentionally
Yeah.
muted before.
And Queen says if you have a laptop, you can just use the built-in mic and webcam when you first start. Use what you got. Don't worry about if it's the best in the industry. Don't wait. I waited 50 years to start streaming. Not quite, but I was nearing 50 and I said, you know what? I'm not going to turn 50 without making my dream since I was 7 years old become something. So don't wait. Take my advice. Don't wait. Just start. Um, anything else that you'd like to say on this subject?
About OBS or about
About getting started, what your advice would be to somebody that is just starting and thinking about getting started. And the same thing goes for you guys in chat. If you have anything to say on what you wish you had known or would like other people to know, feel free to share it.
let's see. I think the only other thing, yeah, kind of like what Siobhan said, relax, have fun. You may not have anybody watch your stream when you first start, and that's totally okay. There are no real rules behind what you can and cannot do. If you don't want to be on camera, you don't have to. If you don't want to be on mic, you don't have to. If you don't want to show what you're writing, you don't have to. It's very much about what makes you the most comfortable, what is going to give you accountability. The main thing to remember is that it is important that if you're running a stream, you do want to have something for people to engage with. But other than that, it's just about taking that leap. And it doesn't matter if your first stream is you talking the whole time, because that's what my first stream was. And it's totally fine.
Talk to your future viewers too. That's something that
yes,
I did. I had no viewers watching me, so I talked to whoever would be watching it in the future. Now we have mentioned do you want to show yourself on stream or not? Do you want to have people hearing you? What about your work? What would you say about showing your work on stream? Because for me, that is something that sometimes I'll do it. Most of the time I have really bad panic attacks and say, I don't want to show this. This is terrible. Nobody will read this if I show it. I can't show this to people. So to show work or not to show work, or a mix in between?
So for me, that partially depends on what I'm writing about. When I am I'm one of those people that for Nano, it doesn't strictly have to be my novel that counts for those words. So when I'm working on that, I may say, okay, I want to do stream of consciousness writing. I don't really want people to see that. So usually I'll have something up on screen. I really like using for the words and picking a monster and just having it on screen just to show people. But so I will write in another tab so that I can kind of do that on the side. But other than that, I usually do show people my writing, and it's not for any other reason than just to show them that, hey, I am making progress. Because most of the time people are not going to have your stream full screen. Most of the time they can't read what you're writing. So I don't I know that there's a bunch of things out there that you can use to obscure your writing. I usually don't feel that that's necessary because most people can't see it. And a lot of people are there for the purpose of writing with you, and they're not really concerned with what you're actually putting on the page besides the fact that there are words. Now, if you're doing a stream where you're showing something that you're working on, the layout of an article or something like that on World Anvil, then yeah, you want to show your writing. But it really ultimately it depends on what you're comfortable with, and things like that. But that's my recommendation. As long as there's a way to show that there is some kind of progress and accountability, then it's all fine.
Yeah, and like Lithan says here, they say, I have a quote box with a slideshow of images with quotes. Sprint timers are great as well. Yeah, that's something that I have. If people have seen my stream before, if I don't have the writing showing up on it, then I have this notebook thing on my writing stream, unless I redesign it this weekend, that it shows a quote from various writers on different things. I collect writing quotes. And then on the other page, I have it's a day planner thing. I have a calendar showing what the day's date is, and then underneath that written in what I'm working on that day.
That's a really good idea. I like that.
I also have another setup where on the bottom of the screen, it's like a news ticker style. And the news ticker with Leor on board, I have it set up that I tap a button on Leor on board when I go live, and it times things down to a point that it shows the headline and the description down on the news ticker. So say I am writing epic grimdark fantasy novel. And then underneath that, it explains what grimdark is and what epic fantasy is. Or I have that I'm editing in the first editing phase on my novel, and it explains what a first editing phase is. And it just, the third one is the name of my novel and the basic plot synopsis, like elevator pitch for my novel. And that helped me make that elevator pitch, was trying to figure out, okay, how do I fit this on a news ticker? So there's other things that you can show, especially with something like OBS, when you get around to playing with it. And like you were saying, you don't have to be talking, which I'm obviously a talker. I talk too much.
So do I.
If you don't want to be talking all the time, start asking some of the people in the writing community about games, because there is Stream Raiders, Marbles on Stream, Words on Stream. Quiz Kit is one of the ones that's become one of my personal favorites since I discovered it because somebody was running it on their birthday one day. You can make your own quizzes, focus them to something to do with your channel or something like that, what you're writing about. I sat up one night and just wrote down, okay, if I was going to run a quiz on my channel, what are the weirdest questions I can ask about Alaska? There's some weird questions you can ask about Alaska, and I've heard them. But just those are ways that you can communicate with your community. And we've got a minute before we have to take a little bit of a break here. So is there anything you'd like to add to my ramble there on stuff to do?
I personally really love Stream Raiders. That was the one that was pretty consistent for me when I was streaming a lot. And there's a ton of different options. I love things like Capamon and stuff like that kind of add that extra little bit of engagement for people, so they can trigger things. So chat commands are a really, really good one. Anything that'll trigger stuff.
Interrupt you for just 1 second. I actually installed a thing. Oh yeah, stream avatars. There we go.
Yes, stream avatars too.
I installed a command on my channel that if I forget to switch to Stream Raiders, !SR, and anybody in chat can bring up the Stream Raiders screen. So
they could trigger it to change it.
Yep.
Man,
anytime they want. So if I forget it, my chat can remember it for me.
That would be a great tool for me to use. I might take your advice on that one.
Anyway, sorry for the interruption. You were saying?
That was pretty much it. I love anything chat command related, any kind of games that I can add, particularly that either act as a timer for my own sprints or have some way of just starting a conversation going or something like that. So yeah. Okay, so we were going to talk next about a little bit more about community, which I realized I'm on the wrong tab for this. Oh, where'd it go?
Yeah, because when you're setting up a stream for co-working, as much as anything else, you are wanting to build a community. So
yeah,
what should we know about that?
I was like, I had notes on this, I promise. So I know we talked a little bit about channel points earlier, but as far as building a community, that more than anything, I think that's about showing up consistently. Setting a consistent schedule as much as possible is a big one, and really I also kind of feel like, that's where we can kind of talk about, okay, one of the important things that you're going to need when you get enough viewers is to have a mod in there that can help you with someone, like if a bot shows up, or keeping people kind of on task for the stream, following the rules, stuff like that. I definitely feel like I've had really good experience finding my mods and finding people that can help kind of lead my little community as I'm growing that viewership. So one of my favorite people that I've ever had mod, he just popped into my stream one day because he had seen me on a different channel, and he ended up volunteering to be a mod for me, and was really, really awesome at doing that. So I feel like we've already talked a little bit about how to establish a community, but to me it's about showing up. It's about even if there aren't many people in your stream one day, you're still there, you're still streaming. You can keep going, like you can keep talking, like there's people there. And if there's not a whole lot of engagement, you can also choose to turn off your mic, turn off your camera, just have a quiet stream. And when people show up in chat, that's when you can start to engage. So I've actually had that happen before, where I was like, okay, let me just kind of hold back on this. And then people came in and I went, all right, let me turn on my mic, start talking to people. It's really about like doing what you can to bring people back day after day. We can kind of do that. I've seen a lot of streams do that by creating a Discord server and a place for people to keep coming back to, where they can engage with you outside of your stream and really learn more about what it is that you're doing. Because there's only so much that you can talk about in a stream. You want people to know how things are going for you, what to do if they want to talk to you more. And that's really where I feel like the next step for a lot of people is to make that Discord server as well, to give people that room. And it's a place for you to grow and do a bunch of other things that you can't do on Twitch. So I don't know what kind of things you've done as far as that goes.
I will say real quick, if you're looking to grow, something that I see a lot of people do, I'm in a couple of like stream community things on Facebook and stuff like that. And I see a lot of people get really mad because I come in here every day and I tell you people that I'm going streaming and nobody comes and hangs out with me. Don't go to a community of streamers and try to build your community from that, because they're all looking for somebody to come watch them too. Go to places, the writing community is great because we're all writers. We all want to hang out with other writers, and it just kind of slowly builds itself outward from whatever you're doing is going to start slowly expanding out into the writing community, and you're going to find a community here, in my opinion.
That's why a lot of servers too, they have places for you to post that you've gone live. Twitch Writers Network is a good one. I started posting on that as soon as I was like, okay, let me get some more engagement from people that care about what I'm doing. You go where your audience is and you tell them, hey, I'm streaming. Come watch me, please.
If you have not watched it yet, I strongly suggest doing what I'm going to be doing and going back and watching, what was the name of it? Twitch 101, I think it was
Streaming
called?
101.
Streaming 101. Okay, Streaming 101. Because a lot of the basics, from what I understand, she was going to cover in there. And, if they didn't cover it, don't go running around doing follow for follow, view for view things, because that will damage your channel. Trust me, it will damage your channel. And there are I'm pretty sure a couple of other panels are going to talk about that, so I'm not going to go too much more into that other than just saying that.
Now, there is a little bit of an exception to that, that I've found in the writing community specifically. I've seen it happen multiple times, and this actually happened to me as well. when I got really close to the number of people I needed to reach affiliate,
Mm, mhm.
then I told people in other channels, I went, I'm streaming, I'm so close. And all of a sudden I had a bazillion people just follow me just because. And, you know, but that you can only do, I feel like, in certain communities, because then they're trying to help you because they actually do care.
Not necessarily, because there is actually, Twitch has, like, in their category things, I haven't looked for them in a long time because I've been an affiliate for a long time, but they do allow you to do, like, in your, what you're streaming, have like push for affiliate or push for partner, things showing that, hey, I am so close to this. Can people come follow me? Preferably if you like me and you're going to come back, because that's what matters. That's why you don't want follow for follow. If they're not going to be
Right.
coming back, if they're not going to enjoy what you're putting out, you know, I spent the first year of streaming telling people, do not follow me. Stay away from my channel. Do not watch it. I was an affiliate within 23 days.
Yeah, I think it's more about like making sure that you're doing it in a way that it is good. Like you're going to your community and saying, hey, I'm really close to being affiliate, rather than just going to some random Twitch community full of other streamers going, hey, follow me, because they're never going to watch you. You know, even if it's not follow for follow, they're still not going to watch you. So it's more about like going to the place that your community is. And then
it's about being focused on the community that you want,
Mhm.
and being a part of that community. So yeah, and Siobhan said they got affiliate in a week. Brian Liu says reverse psychology is how the Cards Against Humanity became a hit. This game is free. Humans, can we pay you money?
You know, that actually we have a section, we were going to talk a little bit about things like Patreon and coffee and things like that, and that's actually like a perfect segue into that, because
it is, isn't it? Our audience is helping us.
Exactly. You know, because it's when you're doing stuff like this, you know, you're looking to build your community and you're offering all of this stuff for free, but you know, ultimately, you know, becoming an affiliate is a financial decision, as well as wanting to build your community by being able to do channel points and stuff like that. So
one second, I'm going to interrupt you here, because Jay just asked a very as a words-oriented person who isn't very technically inclined, I'm wondering if I should hire someone to design my stream for me. Is this a thing? If so, how would I find someone? I would say that depends on your budget, personally. I live dollar to dollar. I would not hire somebody to do what I can just fumble my way through, especially if I'm not sure yet if I'm actually going to enjoy keeping up with it.
It really also depends on like what kind of technically like not very technically inclined you are. Is it like you're going to have trouble setting up OBS Studio, because then you're going to want to go for an option that's really simple to set up, that may have more limited options available to you. But if it's something where you're just worried about like being able to set up the right elements and stuff like that, you know, you can have someone design your stream, or you can get an overlay pack. There's a ton of them out there where they will give you, usually most of them have at least one just chatting kind of scene that you can set up, and that one works for a lot of people, and it's pretty easy like once you install it. So you have to have the technical capability of getting yourself there, but once it's set up, you know, you're good to go.
Yeah, and like author Brian Liu says, I don't see why it couldn't be a thing. What you'd be looking for would be someone to provide a walkthrough of what software you need and how to use it, and perhaps to build you an overlay. And Siobhan and E. Armstrong both say that there are options out there. Free packs are out there. Armstrong says Nerd or Die has some amazing overlay options.
They do.
Um,
They really do. That's where
stuff-
my overlays came from.
The stuff that I have on my stream, 90% of it came from me going to YouTube and watching all the different YouTubers saying, this is how you build your stream. And I would just pick and choose, an idea from this person, an idea from that person, bring it all together. My news banner, I did not make my news banner. I watched a YouTube video, and the dude that did the YouTube video gave all the graphics as part of a free package. So, yeah.
Chat's got a lot of good suggestions.
Yeah, I'm sitting here going, man, can I just read chat for the rest of this thing?
Oh my goodness. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
if you got questions, we got a great community that that'll give you all the tools, all the options, and even tell you how to set it up.
yeah. If you're looking for how to get things going, just start following people that are in this chat right now. Get to know them. I don't see a single name in here that I wouldn't trust with my stream. There was something that I wanted to put. Okay, we already mentioned, make sure you trust your mods. Siobhan had said that. Make sure you trust your mods and you know them. And if you're gonna get mods, pick people that are already hanging out in your channel anyway. You can mod your own channel for a long time. I still mod my own channel, even though I have 3 mods. But I picked people that were hanging out because they wanted to hang out. And, people that I knew before I came to the writing community. The other thing, go ahead.
Yeah, just make sure that when you do choose mods, make sure that you ask them first and don't just give them mod powers, because some people want to just be there to hang out and not be there to watch and ban bots. It is kind of fun sometimes to have a competition to see if I notice the bot first or mod notices the bot first. But yes, definitely ask them first. But a lot of people are happy to be like an extra hand just in case.
Very, very important, really quick before it's forgotten about, because my roommate didn't know it was a thing when he started streaming. When you're setting up your channel, turn on archiving in your settings, because it is not on by default. You will not have video on demand videos if you do not turn on the archiving in your settings. So if you want to be able to upload stuff to your computer to edit it down, DaVinci Resolve is what I use, or Blender, both free. If you want to be able to edit things down for posting somewhere else, you're going to want archiving turned on so you can actually get that video after you're through streaming. And Twitch will also just send the entire thing to YouTube for you. I send whatever I want to keep to YouTube, but I leave it at private so that people can't actually just find it when they go to YouTube. Channel point.
I do like that channel point reward. Shoot the bot. Oh my goodness.
We've got about another 30 minutes, I think, to the thing here. I want to tell people, Siobhan, can you show a screen for me? Because I would kind of like to show this. If you go into your Author Brian Liu asks, how do you do Twitch to YouTube ports? Okay, if you go into, trying to remember this from memory.
I don't actually
go into
know
your
either, so.
user panel thing. Open that in a new tab. No, don't open my icon in a new tab.
I did not catch what you said, Siobhan.
Okay. Okay.
Ooh, fancy.
Anyway, if you go in where your videos are in your channel points thing, or not your channel points thing, go into your streamer's control panel. And in there is a place for the videos. And on the right-hand side, I do believe is where it's at. There's an option to export to YouTube. I can go into it later on when I can actually look at it on my channel, but it's there somewhere. I know it is. And let me call this up.
Raven said video producer, hit the 3-dot menu for the video you want to export, and then there's an export button.
All right. All right. Share that. Did that work right? Participants can now see your screen. Okay.
Oh,
I
that's
replaced
interesting.
everybody. I have taken over. What you're seeing here on the screen is, why did it do that? This is my Stream Deck. This is a free thing called Leorin Board. Go for Leorin Board 2. And if I'm streaming and I hit emergency brake button with my mouse, everything shuts down and it goes to my AFK screen. My camera turns off, my microphone turns off. The one up here titled switches, this is all the mess here on this screen. And it shows my switches screen down the side here. If it catches up. Okay, the bottom one on the right-hand side, that is switches. That is buttons that I hooked up that are just turn this off and on. Have my camera going is the unicorn. Have my mic going. Do I want the stuff for tabletop audio? Do I want Stream Writers to be showing up on screen? And it controls pretty much everything in OBS Studio. So the only thing I'm looking at when I'm got everything up is this little panel here that says ad schedule in the middle of everything, and my stats screen. Everything else on the left-hand side is covered up by my chat window. I'm keeping track of my audio, keeping track of what the screen actually looks like, and everything else is just covered by my chat screen. And I control everything on touching buttons on this Leorin board. So I can go between any screen I want with the 6 ESO, PS4, Stream Raiders, full screen camera, writing, and Blender. Takes me anywhere I want to go on my screens that are built in OBS. So I strongly recommend looking into Leorin board. If you've got the ability to, I run this entire thing on one monitor, and then my game or writing on the second monitor. So if people are looking to, if they would like to have Stream Deck without buying a Stream Deck, that's what I use. And it, I have not used it, but it has a setup that allows you to run it off of your tablet or off. See, I'm just really messing up everything over here. I'm sorry. It lets you run it off your cell phone, your tablet, anything like that, if you don't want to run it on your computer. So they have done amazing things with that little program, and I strongly recommend checking it out.
See, I'm learning new things today because I've never tried using a Stream Deck, but it's something I've thought about.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
they're like a gatekeeper thing because they're so expensive. You're like $120 and more for the smallest one. And this one you can customize any way you want to, and it's right there.
That's really cool.
That was my main goal with this entire thing, was to be able to tell people about stuff like that Stream Deck thing, to, don't be afraid to jump into streaming if you want to do a co-working writing stream. And there are things like that you don't have to spend a lot of money to get into it.
Definitely. I mean, when I got started, my laptop, I had just made it work. I remember the days when my hard drive went bad and I had to use my phone, and that was not fun. But like, this laptop that I had at the time was already 5 years old. It wasn't working very well. I remember when they changed the Wi-Fi in my apartment complex, so it was all the bandwidth was all based off of the entire complex. So when a lot of people were using it, I basically couldn't stream anymore. But I went through all of these issues and I still managed to make it work and come up with things that made the stream interesting without, overwhelming my computer or anything like that. Like, there's so many options out there. With OBS Studio, you can always try Streamlabs OBS. You can try all kinds of different things to figure out what works for you and what you need to build the community that you're looking to build. And oh, that's right. We were going to get into things like Patreon and stuff.
Yeah, we still got about 25 minutes to go on that. Really quick, you were saying about your problems with bandwidth and stuff. I am.
Yeah.
The reason I don't have a very high quality stream is because I am running off of a 200-foot cable stretched over to my brother's house and sharing Wi-Fi access with my roommate in here. My computer is thankfully hardwired in. And two grandnephews in my brother's house. So there is a lot of people jumping onto the internet right at the time that I want to start streaming. That was one of my decisions for, I'm going to do early morning streams when the grandnephews are going to school and the roommate is still asleep in bed. That's when I'm going to stream. Because I had to work around what I have available. So yeah, let's jump into Patreon in the 15 minutes that we have left.
And then we can maybe answer a couple of questions, hopefully.
Yes.
But yeah, so all I was really going to add about this was that, when you do get to the point where you've kind of built up a community, particularly if you have some goals that you want to set, like, if your eventual goal is to be a full-time writer or something along those lines, it can be really important, even early days, to set up, maybe not necessarily a Patreon because that is a monthly thing, in a lot of cases, but a coffee account, something like that. As soon as you become an affiliate, if that's something that you decide to do for Twitch, you want to set up those ways so that, because once you start building a community, people are going to want to help you, reach whatever those goals are. That was how I got my first World Anvil subscription. Was I said, okay, this is a goal I have, and I want to be able to keep streaming. I want to be able to show you guys some really cool stuff. So I'm going to put this out there so that if you want to, kind of show your support, here's the way you do it. So I think it's a really important step when you go, especially if you're going from hobby to thinking about like, okay, maybe this can help me reach some goals. Don't expect anything from people, for sure. But it's a really nice thing. Like, the first time you get a sub, the first time you get bits, and somebody jumping on your coffee and just sending you $1 or $2, like that can kind of like, it in some ways it can help you kind of solidify your community and know that there are people out there that want to support you and help you. And then of course you can do the same, pass it on to other streamers that you like, to really help them too.
Yeah, and I have Amazon Prime, so I will just go through usually the writing community and just each month find somebody that just like, this person's been having a bad week, this person is celebrating their birthday, and find, try to find somebody that I can give that 1 month of Prime subscription to, because I don't have much that I can pass around monetarily, but I do have that and the occasional buy a few bits and things like that. And, it really makes a difference sometimes to streamers to just whatever is going on, a raid with just a couple of people in it. If you are looking to expand and get noticed in the writing community, raid into other streamers in the writing community. If you've got a couple of people watching you, pick your favorite person and raid into their channel.
Even if it's just you, even if you're the only one there, no one's watching you, it still counts. You'll raid yourself into someone and they will say, oh, hey, this person just raided. Like, they noticed my stream. They care about what I'm doing. They're interested. And, I actually have a channel points option where people can guide the raid at the end, so they can show me other streamers that I can connect with and kind of create more of a community that way.
I've met a lot of awesome people that way. My personal, if I raid into somebody's channel, or if I go along on a raid into a channel, if I'm awake, then I hang out and talk with people. If I'm not feeling, you wouldn't know it. Look at me right now, but it takes a lot to get me talking. But I'll start chatting in a channel and just kind of like, even if all I do is go like that and put a little heart in the channel, if I'm feeling up to it, I'll do that just so that people know that, hey, I'm here, I'm around. You're not streaming to dead air. There is somebody paying attention and interested in what you're doing. Some days that can mean a lot to somebody that thinks nobody watches my channel. So, I think we're kind of getting off topic here, but
I mean, yes and no. And it kind of all comes back around to you. Like, the more you reach out and you try to engage and talk to other writers and other people, like, like I said earlier, one of my favorite mods happened to see me on another channel where I was starting to engage, and I was talking about how I was starting to stream. And then that turned around and came right back to me. I've had people that, I support them however I can. And then when they come to my stream, when they get a chance to, they also return the favor. And it kind of like, it expands the writer community. It also, creates friendships and things that you might not see otherwise. And that's why I say put those avenues out there, even if you don't have a whole lot going on, a whole lot of goals, you're not expecting to turn this into a full-time thing. Put the avenues out there, because people do want to support you, especially new streamers. They want to help you get to affiliate. They want to help you, get your work out there. If you've got a book, people like to buy it, that kind of thing. People want to see you grow as a person. And they will be happy to do that if you give them the avenue to be able to do that.
Yeah, there's two things I want to say here on what was just talked about. One of them is I was hanging out in a stream with, a gentleman named Behaving Beardly. I watch him a lot. I've watched him since before he became partner. He plays Sea of Thieves almost exclusively. He's starting to branch out now, but I was hanging out in his chat one day, and I just happened to mention, something about I'm going to be lurking and working on my book. And it started up this conversation where suddenly I'm sitting there hyperventilating because I'm in front of like 300 people saying, yeah, I'm a writer. I'm working on my novel right now. But it alerted people to the fact that I'm a writer. I'm hanging out on Twitch. And the other thing that I wanted to say is Don't go into a stream and say, hey, I'm trying to be a streamer, because a lot of streamers see that as taboo. They will figure out that you're a streamer. Trust me. I never told anybody, hey, I have this channel over here. I'm a streamer too. When I started, I played Days Gone. Days Gone is an awesome game. And I wrote articles about what was going on in Days Gone. I would go and hang out in these streams of other people playing Days Gone. And, you know, we were all little streamers because nobody liked the game. It had just come out like the year, was it a year before? It was like months before, something like that. Anyway, it was ripped to shreds in the reviews, so nobody liked it. Nobody was watching it. I was hanging out in streams of people that were playing it. And this one dude who is currently missing from streaming, we don't know where he is and we're worried. He asked me if I was a streamer too. And I said, yeah. And that created my first community on Twitch. And 3 of my mods are from that little grouping. That he found out I was a streamer. 2 people that were in his channel at that time started talking with me about my interests and coming and hanging out in my channel. And one of them, Tara, she still to this day shows up in my channel anytime she sees that I'm playing a game. And I go to her channel and she just completely tells everybody about me. And it's an awesome little cosmos built there because I was interested in that game. I was passionate about that game that I couldn't find hardly anybody else that liked it. And I didn't tell anybody I was a streamer. And when I did tell them I was a streamer, I told them, don't come to my channel. I'm streaming terrible. This is my cat. I'm streaming terrible stuff at really low quality. Do not watch my channel. And they showed up. They wanted to watch me do stuff. They would watch me when I was streaming. If you look at my old little clips, I had a microphone that shrieked in their ears, and I didn't know it. And they were still showing up and wanting to hang out with me and enjoy the game and stuff like that. And it was just kind of like, why are you people coming here? I told you to stay away. I told you to save yourselves. Just be yourself, have fun, and people will appreciate that you're having fun, and they will want to find out more about you, and they will find out you're a streamer, and you'll never get rid of them.
I had to laugh about the microphone comment because I don't know what it is about my headset. You know, this one right here, I don't know what's wrong with it.
Is that a Turtle Beach?
Yes, it is. But whatever is wrong with it, there will be moments in my own stream where I will get this chipmunk voice, and then that'll last for like 20 seconds. And then next time I talk, it'll be like a demon. And then it'll go back to normal.
Turtle Beach is the one that was messing up on me and shrieking. Yeah.
Okay, so I've learned things.
Here, how about if you sit normally instead of... No, I'm not putting you down. I'm turning you around. There. Sit normally. This is how she normally sits.
That's super cute.
But yeah, if you're looking to get started, just figure out what you're passionate about. A lot of the people that are hanging out here right now are passionate about writing. We would not be having Conduit right now and for the entire weekend of nobody gets any sleep if we weren't passionate about writing. So.
Oh. Do we have any questions?
Yeah,
We got a few minutes. I'm wondering where my cats are. They're usually like on me during streams.
Siobhan said, my stream time is going back to my original time. I tried to stream at an earlier time, but I'm less productive. So, yeah.
That's why I've taken an extended break from streaming, because I found that weekends did not work for me. My best time is during the week, which is really hard when I'm working full time. So one day.
I started out with what was supposed to be a good time for me. And then I found out, I really can't make this time every single time, but that there is something before we have to take off that needs to be said. Set a schedule and do your best to keep to that schedule. I am really bad about that. I set a schedule and then never show up because anxiety and panic attacks make me not stream. But consistency, Siobhan's got it right there. Consistency, people will appreciate knowing when you're going to be streaming. And thankfully, there's a lot of people in the writing community that are really good about the consistency. You can be sure that you're going to find coffee streaming. You can be sure that, oh man, his name, Writer Greg. You can be sure that you're going to find Writer Greg on constantly. The man has 2 different streams now. And Sable, yeah, she just redid her schedule to make sure that she could be more consistent. Tavern. You're going to find Travis Tavern on pretty consistently. So if you want to do this, figure out your best stream time when you can be consistent and do your best to stick to that if it's more than just a hobby for you. That will do 2 things for you. That will not only help you grow your stream channel, but if you're using it as a writing stream, you would be amazed how much you can get wrote if you're actually consistent about this is my writing time. And a lot of people, that's why they're doing these writing streams, is because it allows them to say, this is office hours, I'm writing.
And, you can experiment too if you're just not like, if it's 3 a.m. your time and that's the best time that you can come up with to stream and no one's watching, you've tried for a while and it's just not happening. It's, find a different time. Like the objective is to, stream and talk to other people. So if you're just like having a one-off day or just a week where people are off and on, that's normal. But if you're just not getting anywhere and you have another time, try that other time, see what works for you, see when you write best, and see when you start to get that community built, because that is what brings you back day after day. It's kind of like a chicken and egg thing, but at the same time, it's like it's important when you're starting to just experiment and see what works. And once you figure out something that works, stick with it as much as possible.
And then advertise it on your Twitter or on your Twitter, on anything that you're doing social media on. Make sure people know what time to find you streaming.
Okay, and
once you know it.
We are at that 15-minute mark for reading out. My raid call is stay true. Stay true to yourself. Stay true to your dreams. And my streams will be going back to 3 a.m. Pacific.
So as we are raiding out back to the Conduit channel, I would just like to say thank you so much to Siobhan for herding the kitty cats, except for this one, and to Inkflame Rider for helping me with this and keeping me calm.
Thank you for hosting.
And whatever you guys are getting up to, just have fun with it. Have fun.
Yeah.
Say goodnight, Demon.
Good night, Demon.